We welcome you here to Jefferson City, Tennessee, the Carson-Newman Eagles and the Wingate Bulldogs men's soccer. After Carson-Newman and Wingate battled in women's soccer on the pitch, a 3-1 decision for Wingate. It's now the men's time to shine. Wingate enters today's contest at 5-5-1, 3-5-0 in the South Atlantic Conference. Meanwhile, Carson-Newman 3-7-3, 2-5-1 in SAC play. Now, it hasn't been the best start to the season for Carson-Newman, but had a recent triumph against Newberry last time out on Wednesday. One of the biggest wins in the program's recent history in over a decade. It was an 8-0 win over the Newberry Wolves. Now, why that's really important for today's match? Wingate's most recent match 1 week ago against Newberry in Wingate fell 1-0 to the Wolves. So the two teams that are on the pitch today, the most recent contest has been against Newberry. Very different results. Carson-Newman, that 8-0 win. Wingate, the 1-0 loss to Newberry. Both were road contests for the Newberry Wolves as well. Starting goalkeepers for both sides for Carson-Newman, it's Federico Simonetti. Has started most of the season with the exception of some early non-conference games in the middle of September when he was out with a shoulder injury. On the other side, it's Moritz Conrad, the true freshman from Berlin, minding the net for the Wingate Bulldogs. It's Moritz Conrad who will be in the bright yellow. Simonetti will be in the neon highlighter yellow. Early attack for Carson-Newman. It's a pass over to Smarek on the right wing. Will attempt the cross inside the box. It's a header that goes straight to Conrad. And an early save. Carson-Newman on the shot tally early. And just an excellent cross from Smarek. The header was there from Ben Dukes, who had a hat trick 1 game ago. Just couldn't quite get it past the keeper for the Bulldogs. And for Carson-Newman, it's almost going to be a feeling out process of getting used to having to play a fresh defense. It seemed like the morale for Newberry shrunk away after the second Carson-Newman goal. And so it's been a little while. Despite playing in-game competition, Carson-Newman has had a minute since it's had to face competition that hasn't lost that morale and that's ready to play. And Wingate certainly wants to prove themselves after the loss to Newberry as well. Over the end line, a goal kick coming for Federico Simonetti and Carson-Newman. Game underway while Carson-Newman football is on the road at Emory and Henry, protecting a perfect record right now, but trailing at the half 17-3 to the Wasps of Emory and Henry. The Eagles have slowed the pace down in the defensive third, trying to find a route forward. It will go to Veneslon. The pass to Torrent on the left wing. Torrent's got some speed. Dishes it off with the right foot. Torrent still in control. He passes it back. It went through Tim Hans. Mitch Honcup, one of the big leaders of this offense, at midfield, controlling the offense. The Eagles will put it into reverse, trying to find different routes through this Bulldogs defense. All-time series history, Carson-Newman trails. Wingate has won 20 meetings against Carson-Newman compared to the 13 that the Eagles have won. Throw in 7 ties in the mix. This becomes the 41st meeting between the two sides. Wingate winners of the last 2. It was a November 3rd meeting in 2023 on the road in Wingate, North Carolina. A 1-0 decision for the Bulldogs. A cross into the box. Headed away. Chance at goal. Diving was Conrad, who was able to reach out and make the save. An excellent attempt from Moritz Conrad, the true freshman, after it was pretty much a point-blank shot. right at the net from Daniel Veneslund. Couple of early shots for Carson-Newman. Both have been on target. Quick foul called against Carson-Newman. Free kick coming here for Wingate. It's the Bulldogs in the navy blue, Carson-Newman in its home grays. Final regular season home game for Carson-Newman. Currently looking to leapfrog Wingate with a win today in the table. It's a chip into the box for the Bulldogs, headed away by Carson-Newman, and a chance for the counterattack to take hold. Taking a look at the table for the South Atlantic Conference, it's Carson-Newman with 7 points, Wingate with 9. A win and 3 points today for Carson-Newman would leapfrog Wingate in the standings. And an update from the gridiron, Carson-Newman has struck first in the second half with about 10 minutes to play, pending the extra point. Assuming it's good, it would make it 17-10, Emery and Henry. Honcup with contact into the box. It's a chance for Wingate. Taken away. Having control was Pablo Pozos, but was quickly stripped of the ball inside the 18-yard box. Two shots, 2 on goal, but 2 saves from Moritz Conrad. Just about 6.5 minutes gone in the first half between Wingate and Carson-Newman in the regular season home finale for both the men's and women's teams. Veneslund works it back. It will now go to midfield. Carson-Newman does have 2 road games remaining. November 2nd, next Saturday at Anderson. That comes in a week when Anderson visits Carson-Newman for football. Ball over the touchline into the bench area. It's a Carson-Newman throw-in. Wingate has struggled to find a solid piece of offense to this point so far. Obviously still early on in the contest with plenty of game to play. Flick off the heel of Veneslund before it's booted away. It goes up the field looking for Pozos. And it's Pozos who's been controlling the possession wearing the captain's armband. It now will go to Lemke. Lemke on the far right wing. He keeps it himself. Lemke on a drive, passes it to himself on the right side. It's still Lemke. Tripped up over the touchline and a throw-in coming for Carson-Newman on excellent defense on a legal tackle. Wingate asking for the foul. They won't get it. In the conference standings, it's Limestone, a perfect 8-0 in conference for 24 points on the table. Then Coker, LMU, Mars Hill, Catawba come the next set of teams as Carson-Newman. It's Torrent attempting to work into the box. Now dishes it off all the way back to Honcup towards midfield. Putting in reverse onto the defensive half of the field. Chipped ahead. Veneslund, a right foot dribble, passes it back to Pascal. Smarek looking for options and passes it back to the defense. Honcup dishes it ahead into the box and cleared by the Bulldogs. Sent up to the sack logo where Honcup recovers. Played ahead. Torrent to Honcup, looking for a shot. Excellent defense from Wingate. Torrent picks it up, takes a shot, and there with the gloves, diving out to make the save is Moritz Conrad. Using all 6 feet 2 inches of his frame to go out and make that save. Carson-Newman efficient. 3 shots, all of them on goal. Becomes the first corner kick of the day for either side. It's Maxime Wester taking the corner kick. Strike with the right foot. It's a low set piece. It rolls back, straight back to Wester. Second corner kick opportunity in essence. It's a header that will go wide. The officials rule goal kick. Four shots to none for Carson-Newman today. Wingate sits in 7th in the conference standings. It's the top 8 who get to play in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament. Sitting in between Wingate and Carson-Newman is Anderson, who is Carson-Newman's next opponent. So this game against Wingate and next Saturday against Anderson, really 2 of the biggest games of Carson-Newman's season. A chance to take out and get a few points against teams who are also in the hunt for those final few spots for the SAC tournament. Carson-Newman sits in 9th in the conference with 7 points. Wingate and Anderson are tied with 9 apiece. Played ahead for the Bulldogs. It was Lemke, and Lemke still controls. Midfield pass was chipped ahead, rolls all the way back to Sverre Oland. Ball rolls out of play. Goal kick coming for Federico Simonetti and Carson-Newman. Simonetti has not faced a shot either on target or off from this Bulldogs offense. The Bulldogs on a 3-match losing streak have not scored since October 12th, 2 weeks ago against Anderson. Scored the first goal of that contest before the Trojans found the next 2 to win 2-1 in that contest. Since then, a 2-0 loss at Catawba and that 1-0 loss at home against Newberry. A push and a foul called against Wingate. Carson-Newman asking for a booking to be shown. Wingate saying, how is that a foul at all? Tale of 2 extremes, and it comes out in the middle. Worked up by Pozos. Centering pass, it just misses its mark. Now on the left wing, a shot hits off the left post on a shot from Leroy Best. First shot of the day for Wingate. And it will result in a Bulldogs corner kick. Taking the corner kick for Wingate is Kimo Lemke, the graduate midfielder from Hamburg, Germany. Antoine Torrent, the forward, now sprinting ahead, looking for a counter-attacking opportunity. Chip in from outside the box. It's a save on a shot from outside the box. On the shot was Pablo Pozos, the sophomore forward. From distance, really, if you want to make it a basketball analogy, from beyond the arch. Wingate attempting to get a couple of more opportunities on Federico Simonetti. It rolls all the way back to the keeper. 2 games remain in the regular season after today for Wingate as well. Next Saturday, the final home game for Wingate in the regular season. That would be against Emory and Henry before taking on Coker on the road to close the season on Wednesday, November 6th. SAC quarterfinals would resume that ensuing Saturday on November 9th. As it stands, Wingate would be going on the road. Carson-Newman would be left out. But still 3 games to play, and 3 very important ones. Long distance shot. It finds its way in. Carson-Newman strikes first on an excellent shot from outside the box, and who else but Ben Dukes, the hat-trick scorer from a few days ago, finds another goal today. It's 1-0 Carson-Newman on the Ben Dukes goal. And it was a shot that just seemingly came out of nowhere. It looked like Moritz Conrad wasn't really ready for the shot. Thought there might be an extra pass. But Dukes finds the score sheet at the 29:38 mark of the first half. So Ben Dukes finds the net. It's 1-0 Carson-Newman. Have now scored 9 consecutive and unanswered goals. Ben Dukes had 1 goal entering this homestand all season. Had a hat trick against Newberry, now a goal today. Up to 5 on the season. He is now Carson-Newman's leading scorer for the season. Conrad comes out. Makes the save with his boot. Jumping header intercepted and turned around by Wingate. Way up the field is Pablo Pozos. Pozos into the box, centering feed. Onto the captain, Pedro Santos. Santos collects on the end line. He tries to chip it in. And out of play over the end line, and it's a goal kick coming for Carson-Newman. A 16th minute goal for Ben Dukes, assisted by Antoine Torrent, has opened the scoring for Carson-Newman. Flash you back to the first game of this men's and women's doubleheader. Carson-Newman scored the first goal of that contest when Felicia Frick scored from the penalty dot. It was then 3 unanswered Wingate goals that led to that 3-1 decision in the women's game. Carson-Newman out shooting Wingate 5-2, have been rewarded for their efforts. Honcup receiving pressure, the pass back to Pascal. Smarek now at midfield inside the circle. Chipped ahead over the touchline, throw incoming Wingate. Get some whistles saying for the Wingate throw-in to back up a few steps, maybe about 3 yards. Played back towards Simonetti. Carson-Newman has gotten into the habit of getting on the score sheet a lot after falling 2-1 to Lenore Rhine. It was an 8-0 decision, now leading 1-0 against Wingate. Played on to the side. It's Leroy Best. He passes it back to his midfielders. Wingate looking for options to play ahead. Long pass upfield. Looking for Hilpert, the graduate forward. Hilpert has been controlling that left wing so far, hasn't had too many touches yet. About 20 minutes into our contest, no substitutions just yet. Reminder on soccer substitutions in the NCAA. If you're subbed out for the first half, you cannot return for the remainder of the half. Subbed out in the second half, you can return once, but if you come out a second time in that same half, you are done for the day. Played ahead, looking for Torrent. It's a battle for the ball. It's won by the veteran Oland. Played ahead, Dukes was looking for a brace. Instead, it goes just high above the crossbar. Ben Dukes has been aggressive. He's been looking for the score sheet a lot. Had the 3 goals against Newberry, has the goal today, 16th minute strike. On the dish from Antoine Torrent. That leads to that 1 on the scoreboard underneath home. Going in reverse, a bicycle kick turns it around. Honcup trying to control the ball. Sent back and over the touchline. A throw-in coming from about the furthest point on the field where you can still get a throw-in. And the flag goes up. So a free kick for Carson-Newman. It's the goalkeeper, Federico Simonetti, who will come out from his position. And we'll give it up. Jacob Lakener, now the free kick taker. Passes it back to Simonetti before getting it back himself. Dishes it ahead to the freshman Torrent. Fighting for possession is Torrent. He's fouled and holding his right foot. The official comes up to check on the Frenchman and now will call the foul against Wingate. Free kick coming from right around midfield. Mitch Honcup will take the free kick for Carson-Newman. Honcup's free kick goes straight to a Bulldog. Kobe Vasquez turns it around for the Bulldogs in Navy. It's a battle for possession. Whistle and a foul called against Carson-Newman. Free kick for Wingate. Foul calls have been semi-frequent, 2-1 in favor of Carson-Newman. It feels like there's a lot of whistles for tie-ups. Wingate's been called offsides once compared to none for Carson-Newman thus far. On the far side, throw-in for CN. It's Honcup who receives the throw-in. Working on the right wing are the Eagles. Pass ahead to Torrent. Streaking is Veneslon. He stays on side as he receives the pass. Left-footed strike is blocked. Carson-Newman leading 1-0. Corner kick coming after the block shot rolled past the end line. Tim Hans taking the corner kick for Carson-Newman. Send into the box, headed away. Out of play, there is a downed eagle. The official will come over. Has not signaled to stop the clock yet, and now will. No call for athletic trainers, and now the Eagles athletic trainer will trot out for a check-in just inside the 6-yard box. It is Dan Coles, the sophomore defender from Rugby, England, who's shaken up on the play. Substitution for Carson-Newman. Rydian Williams will come in place of Tim Hans. Coles remains in the game despite being shaken up in the reason for the clock stoppage. On a warmer than normal afternoon here from Jefferson City. Had colder temperatures about a week to a week and a half ago, and seems like someone turned the oven back on because it's warmed right back up. Played ahead. Dangerous spot for Carson-Newman. Now clears it back towards midfield. Played ahead to the foot of Best. Best still fighting for that possession. Instead, it's taken away. A lot of contact. It's Williams for Carson-Newman. Foul called against Wingate. Make that a foul called against Carson-Newman. Free kick coming for the Bulldogs. And it's about a 40-yard free kick from the goal line. Would not expect a direct shot on goal. Instead, it is chipped into the box. A whistle called and a foul against Wingate. Free kick coming for Carson-Newman. Foul came while fighting for possession inside the 18-yard box. By the way, a update from the gridiron. Emory and Henry still leading 17-10, about 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. It's Carson-Newman ball, but 3rd and 15 on their own 20-yard line. Well, for those tuning in on Flow Sports and Flow FC, we thank you for making us a part of your Saturday evening as Carson-Newman leads Wingate 1-0. Played ahead. Honcup deflects it into his own face before chipping it upfield. Goes over the touchline. Throw-in coming for Wingate, but essentially, if you do want to make a football analogy here on Saturday, it was almost like a punt for Carson-Newman. Just got it out of there. despite turning it over to Wingate. Another battle for possession, becoming increasingly common at midfield. On the far left wing, Bulldogs are looking for options. Played ahead. Wingate with only 2 shots so far. Simonetti has not been challenged much. One of those 2 shots was on goal. Foul called at midfield against Wingate. So a free kick coming for Carson-Newman. Foul calls getting increasingly common. Wingate 4, Carson-Newman 3. Played back to the keeper, Simonetti. Just about 30 minutes gone in our opening half here for McCown Field in Jefferson City. Carson-Newman with the lone goal of the contest, a 16th minute strike from Ben Dukes. Last 5 statistical plays to be inputted have all been fouls. Play into the box, cleared away by Carson-Newman. Counter-attack opportunity. It's Torrent all alone. It's him and the keeper tripped up just outside of the box. A foul will now be called and a free kick coming. And he was tripped up just barely outside of the box. It was Dennis Hamzik who caused the trip. Clock will stop. No cards of any color yet, but a free kick will be coming for Carson-Newman from just outside of the box. Oh, hold on a second. A red card has now been shown. Sent off is Dennis Hamzik, and Wingate will play the rest of today's game with 10 men. The Wingate players are arguing with our head official, but the booking has already been made. So Hamzik sent off, the senior defender from Stockholm, Sweden. Now, that would have been a clear penalty kick had that been maybe 4 feet further upfield. But because that was outside the box and it took away an opportunity from Antoine Torrent, that red was shown. Not too often at any level you see the immediate red card. It's more often than not 2 yellows that lead to the red. But a direct red on Hamzik comes at the 30th minute of our contest. So the free kick will come from just outside the box. It's Dukes and Honcup both there. It will be Honcup taking it into the box, saved by Conrad, headed away. It will played back to Honcup. And so we'll see how Wingate adjusts to playing with 10 men, but almost for Hamzik a red card that he was willing to take as it stopped nearly a surefire goal, depending on how Conrad read it. Torrent plays it to the middle. Honcup left side scores. Right foot, left side of the net. Carson-Newman doubles its advantage. Torrent with the assist. It's his second assist of the day. Wingate will make a couple of changes, 7 and 26. On for the Bulldogs as well as 32. As well as number 2 for Wingate. So a lot of changes for the Bulldogs. Coming off is number 14. 8 and 10 coming off as well. Make that 6 and 10. So off the pitch for Wingate is Zach Panagotu and Raul Felipe, number 25, off the pitch as well for Wingate. 2-0 Carson-Newman. It comes just moments after the red card is shown to Hamzik of Wingate playing with 10 men. So Honcup scores his 5th of the season. He is now tied for Ben Dukes for the team lead in goals. We'll get a whistle. Wingate made a lot of changes. There's one less player to keep track of on the pitch as a red card was shown. A chip into the box by Vasquez of Wingate. Played ahead. Antoine Torren is there yet again. A header clips it away from the freshman. The freshman forward from France has 2 points in today's contest with 2 assists, assisted on Dukes and Honcup's goal. If you're just tuning in, a big game for Carson-Newman as a win over Wingate would leapfrog the Bulldogs in the standings and put Carson-Newman back into the picture for the South Atlantic Conference Tournament. A 16th minute goal from the right side of the net. Ben Dukes scored, assisted by Antoine Torrent. Then Torrent got in on the 30th minute goal by Mitch Honcup. That made it 2-0. Wingate desperate for a response. Shot into the net. And it's a save for the goalkeeper, Federico Simonetti. Corner kick coming for Wingate. Taking the corner kick is Ben McGonigal, the freshman from Spain. Chips it into the box, headed away towards the right side of the net. Carson-Newman out shooting Wingate 10-3. For those interested in what's going on the gridiron for Carson-Newman, Carson-Newman has the ball in Emory and Henry territory, still trailing by 7. Saturday afternoon's a hotbed for South Atlantic men's soccer. Few games going on alongside ours today. However, all of them will be starting later. At the 5 o'clock hour, Anderson at Lincoln Memorial will get underway, as well as Mars Hill at Catawba. At the 7 o'clock hour, Tusculum at Coker will begin, and at 7:30, Limestone at Lenore Rhine. Quick free kick for Carson-Newman, taken by Simonetti, the goalkeeper. Very reminiscent of that 8-0 Newberry game right now as Carson-Newman led by 2 late in the first half before finding a third in the final 5 minutes. Final 2 minutes, really, of that first half before the Eagles were able to open up for 5 second-half goals. Honcup plays it ahead for Pascal. Again, Wingate playing with 10 men after the red card shown. Inside for Torrent. Conrad comes out, loses the ball for a second, but ends up making the save. Won't go down as a statistical shot for Torrent as Conrad came out and took it off his foot. Chipped ahead. It's Torrent yet again. Been calling his name a lot. Instead, it's back to Conrad. Ten minutes to play in our first half. Carson-Newman has now scored 10 unanswered goals dating back to the last match against Newberry. Chipped into Carson-Newman's defensive third. Wingate trying to break into the 18-yard box. Up the right wing, counterattack. Carson-Newman has numbers. Played ahead to Torrent. And I believe the flag was going to go up had Carson-Newman played it. That's why Torrent backed off and let Conrad take it. Well, as we get into the later stages of the football game at Emory and Henry, we'll give you more frequent updates. Carson-Newman just had a gutsy call going for it on 4th and 1. It worked out with the return of Trey Luttrell, quarterback who's not thrown the ball yet, but he certainly rushed with it. Free kick coming for Wingate. The wind's starting to pick up. Just around 11:30 this morning, there were some ominous clouds in the sky. Thankfully, those cleared out. But those winds, and it almost feels like rain's coming soon. Free kick taken. Honcup is there with the big boot to clear it. From atop the sack logo. Wingate looking for options. It was Reese Corpus playing the ball. Honcup with a nice nutmeg. Seems like Honcup has been the center of this Carson-Newman offense, which is something that has not been seen in a few games. Maybe that was the strategy switch that has led to Carson-Newman's recent success the past 2 games, the past 3 halves, really. Flags are blowing to the east as the ball's played to the west over the end line. Substitutions for Carson-Newman. It will be Lucas Troll, one of the goal scorers from a couple days ago, as well as Thomas LaChapelle. Checking into the match, Antoine Torrent, as well as Ben Dukes, will take leave. It will actually just be Dukes and Venisland. Apologies on that. Torrent remains in the game. It was Venisland who came out. Lucas Troll into the game in the first half. Not a common sight, but after his performances against Newberry back on Wednesday certainly has earned that opportunity. Troll is a freshman midfielder from Johnson City, Tennessee, not too far from here. Solid intercept for Wingate. Played ahead onto the right wing, finding Corpus. Cross into the box. Simonetti is there with a double fist to clear it away. Played back under 5 minutes to play in the first half. We're 40 minutes in, 50 to go. If you're just tuning in, Wingate playing with 10 men after a red card was shown to Dennis Hamzik. Played ahead, Torrent on the left wing. Right-footed dribble, cutting to the right side. Torrent still tried to play it from his knees. And now a foul called against Carson-Newman. Free kick coming for Wingate deep in their own defensive third. Wingate is asking for a booking. Foul called on the far side of the field. It goes against Carson-Newman yet again. Played into the box. Solid chance for Wingate. The cross. Simonetti's there. Second chance shot hits the left post. Back-to-back shots for Wingate. Neither find its way in. Simonetti there for one save. The second chance shot by Koisi Malefa hit the left post. And Wingate still blanked.
Come on.
2:30 remaining in our first half. Wingate has yet to find the scoreboard. Carson-Newman has done it twice. Honcup dribbles ahead. Torrent attempted to play the ball. Pascal, left wing. Played back to Simonetti. Regular season home finale for Carson-Newman. Eagles are looking for one more before the end of the half. A minute 11 remains on the clock. Chipped ahead by Pascal. It seems like it will be a midfielder's battle until the end of the half. Less than a minute to play now. Back into the box, played ahead. 35 seconds remain in the half. Can Carson-Newman find a third late in the half like they did on Wednesday? Played ahead. Foul called. With now 10 seconds to play. It was a foul on Carson-Newman. And that will do it for our first half of play. Carson-Newman 2, Wingate 0. A 16th-minute goal from Ben Dukes, a 30th-minute goal from Mitch Honcup, and the 30th-minute red card from Dennis Hamzik. That's the half. We'll be back in approximately 15 minutes with the resumption of our game in the final 45 on the Eagles Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, good inclement weather in the area, today's game has been temporarily delayed. We ask that you please evacuate the outfield of Hurley Stadium to a safe location. We ask that you please seek shelter inside the Miles Student Activity Center in the east parking lot. An announcement will be made as to the status and restart time of today's game. We thank you for your cooperation.
Punt, Carson-Newman, 2nd and 5 in the third. First down, 1st and 10 at the Carson-Newman 37. Game over. Westfield goes for his 2nd interception. Early attack for Carson-Newman. It's a pass over to Smarek on the right wing. Will attempt the cross inside the box. It's a header that goes straight to Conrad. And an early save. Carson-Newman on the shot tally early. A cross into the box. Headed away. Chance at goal. Diving was Conrad, who was able to reach out and make the save. An excellent attempt from Moritz Conrad, the true freshman, after it was pretty much a point-blank shot. Played ahead. Torrent to Honka, looking for a shot. Excellent defense from Wingate. Torrent picks it up, takes a shot, and there with the gloves, diving out to make the save is Moritz Conrad. Using all 6 feet 2 inches of his frame to go out and make that save on November 9th. As it stands, Wingate would be going on the road. Carson-Newman would be left out. But still 3 games to play. And 3 very important ones. Long distance shot. It finds its way in. Carson-Newman strikes first on an excellent shot from outside the box, and who else but Ben Dukes, the hat-trick scorer from a few days ago, finds another goal today. It's 1-0 Carson-Newman on the Ben Dukes goal. It's won by the veteran Olen. Played ahead, Dukes was looking for a brace. Instead, it goes just high above the crossbar. Play into the box, cleared away by Carson-Newman. Counter-attack opportunity. It's Torrent all alone. It's him and the keeper tripped up just outside of the box. A foul will now be called and a free kick coming. And he was tripped up just barely outside of the box. It was Dennis Hamzik who caused the trip. Clock will stop. Oh, hold on a second. A red card has now been shown. Sent off is Dennis Hamzik. And Wingate will play the rest of today's game with 10 men. So the free kick will come from just outside the box. It's Dukes and Honcup both there. It will be Honcup taking it into the box, saved by Conrad, headed away. It will played back to Honcup. Stopped nearly a surefire goal, depending on how Conrad read it. Torrent plays it to the middle. Honcup left side scores. Right foot, left side of the net. Carson-Newman doubles its advantage. Torrent with the assist. It's his second assist of the day. Wingate will make a couple of changes, 7 and 26. Wingate desperate for a response. Shot into the net. And it's a save for the goalkeeper, Federico Simonetti. Yeah, thanks, Cav, and we welcome you inside to McCown Field on the campus of Carson-Newman, and it's been a good day for the men's soccer program. Up 2-0 at the half. Ben Dukes found a goal at the 16th minute mark, was assisted from Antoine Torrent to open the scoring. He had a hat trick in the last game against Newberry. He opened the scoring against Wingate today. Mitch Honcup then found the back of the net on an assist from Antoine Torrent for the second Torrent assist of the day. That was at the 30th minute mark. That came just 27 seconds after a red card was shown to Wingate's Dennis Hamzik. Wingate playing the rest of the match with 10 men. Carson-Newman is out shooting Wingate 10-6, 6-3 in shots on goal, and it's looked good for a team who took down Newberry 8-0 on Wednesday. Now 10 unanswered goals in back-to-back games. Carson-Newman leading at the half through a lengthy weather delay. We're about 2 minutes from players being allowed back onto the field to get the game back underway and get going once again. At the half, it's 2-0 Carson-Newman over Wingate with goals from Ben Dukes and Mitch Honcup. Cav? It's won by the veteran Owen. Played ahead. Dukes was looking for a brace. Instead, it goes just high above the crossbar. Play into the box, cleared away by Carson-Newman. Counter-attack opportunity. It's Torrent all alone. It's him and the keeper tripped up just outside of the box. A foul will now be called and a free kick coming. And he was tripped up just barely outside of the box. It was Dennis Hamzik who caused the trip. Clock will stop. Oh, hold on a second. A red card has now been shown. Sent off is Dennis Hamzik. And Wingate will play the rest of today's game with 10 men. So the free kick will come from just outside the box. It's Dukes and Honcup both there. It will be Honcup taking it into the box, saved by Conrad, headed away. It will played back to Honcup. Stopped nearly a surefire goal, depending on how Conrad read it. Torrent plays it to the middle. Honcup left side scores. Right foot, left side of the net. Carson-Newman doubles its advantage. Torrent with the assist. It's his second assist of the day. Wingate will make a couple of changes, 7-26. Wingate desperate for a response. Shot into the net. And it's a save for the goalkeeper, Federico Simonetti. Well, it's been a while since we last came to you from atop of a McCown Field at Harvey Stadium. Halftime was a little longer than normal, about 1 hour between the final whistle of the first half and what will be the first touch of the second half. A lightning delay, a small batch of lightning hit the Jefferson City area at around 3:35 this afternoon. It's now, of course, 4:36, so just over an hour of halftime has been allotted. The officials making their way back onto the field. Both teams are back on the field. For lightning delays, whenever there's a local strike in the area, the countdown clock has to reset to 30 minutes. That finally expired about, I want to say, 12 minutes ago. Both teams were allotted a short warm-up period because they weren't allowed to take the field until that lightning delay was over. And now ready to go. Through it all, through the warm-up period, through the multiple lightning clock resets, it has been well now over an hour since we've had some soccer action here in Jefferson City. Well, let's get you caught up on what you missed if you're just tuning in. Carson-Newman with a 2-0 lead over Wingate as we're about to start the second half. Goals came in the 16th minute from Ben Dukes, assisted by Antoine Torrent. A 30th minute goal by Mitch Honcup, also assisted by Torrent. That Honcup goal came 27 seconds after a red card was issued to Dennis Hamzik. Wingate is playing the remainder of the game with 10 men, and that includes their formation lining up here to begin the second half. A couple other numbers to go over before we get underway in the second half as well. Total shots 10-6 in favor of Carson-Newman. That shot advantage translates to shots on goal, where Carson-Newman holds the advantage 6-3. Fouls, Wingate was ahead in that category 8-5. Both teams found 2 corner kicks. And we're just waiting on the whistle, and it seems like there is a problem. It appears to be with the left post of the net that Federico Simonetti is controlling next to Berktar Stadium. They're almost wiggling it like a loose tooth. Not quite sure what the issue is, but the line judge, I think, has approved it, and we're ready to go. So through our long delay, it is lengthened a small bit by officials checking things, and now the athletic trainer and director of facilities are going to come over to check on the goalpost. Again, it is near impossible to know from our vantage point here what the malfunction is, but it is a lot of attention being focused on what would be the left post if you're shooting at that westmost goal. And it almost appears like the net came off of the post on the back side. And I think Federico Simonetti is saying that a ball could get through that and not end up in the net, but instead pop out, and nothing a roll of duct tape can't fix. It looks like they are literally taping the net to the goalpost. So after a halftime plus delay that has lasted over an hour, we get a slight facility malfunction delay. All right. Seems like we're good to go. The official has approved it. Federico Simonetti, who is dressed in the neon yellow, seems happy with it. And we are good to go once more. Head official checking with his line judges. And we are back underway after over a halftime break of over an hour. Again, if you're just tuning in, well, welcome. You're just tuning in just in time for the second half. It's Carson-Newman 2, Wingate 0. And I think when you mention this match, you have to talk about the stakes and what is at stake, especially for Carson-Newman, sitting outside the SAC tournament picture in ninth with 7 points in the standings at a 2-5-1 conference record. Wingate at 3-5 is sitting at 9 points. Currently in seventh. In eighth is Anderson, having played one less game than both Wingate and Carson-Newman. Also have 9 points for a virtual tie with Wingate. Carson-Newman, a win today would give them 10 points on the season. A cross over the net, but 10 points on the season would catapult Carson-Newman into 7th place in the South Atlantic Conference standings, which would see them travel to Hartsville to play Coker in the first round of the SAC tournament as the table stands currently. Top 4 teams in the standings get to host the first round. That would be Limestone, Coker, Lincoln Memorial, and Mars Hill. Again, a lot of times for the table to change. A trip, Carson-Newman asking for a foul. Still an injured Eagle. Daniel Veneslon was down, now finally gets back to his feet. We thank you for sticking with us through the lightning delay and making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. Now an injured Bulldog, slow to get to his feet, but finally does. Wingate playing with the disadvantage of playing with 10 men. That was Pablo Pozos who went down to the pitch on the artificial turf before popping back up. Simonetti is now pressured by Pozos. Dukes hands it back on the other side of the field. Pascal hands it off to Honkup. He rolls it ahead to Antoine Torrent, who is on the wrong side of a 3-on-1. Rolls over the touchline. Throw-in coming for Carson-Newman. Wester on the right wing. Carson-Newman now working closer to the Holt Fieldhouse building where basketball and volleyball play here at Carson-Newman. On the other side of the field is Berktar Stadium where the football team is housed. A shot just goes wide right. First shot of the second half, it belongs to Carson-Newman. It was deflected by a Bulldog and a corner kick coming. It is Ben Dukes taking the corner kick. Third corner kick of the afternoon for Carson-Newman. Dukes has help right next to him. We'll see if this is a short corner kick. Instead, it's a cross inside the box. There to collect is the keeper in Moritz Conrad, the freshman out of Berlin, Germany, with the big hands. Battle for the ball, contact, but no call. Bulldogs attempting to get into the box, need to counteract a 2-goal deficit while also playing with one less man due to the red card of the 30th minute. Regular season home finale for both Carson-Newman men's and women's soccer. The women played earlier today with a noon kick. Ended up falling 3-1 to the Wingate women's side. Off the left wing, Pascal dishes it off. Centered pass to the box, and this goes into the parking lot, sailing well over the net. Carson-Newman snapped a 3-match home losing streak in its last time out against Newberry on Wednesday in that 8-0 performance. Had previously seen straight losses here at home to Lincoln Memorial, Mars Hill, and Coker. Bulldogs desperate for a goal. It's often said that a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous because the defense can feel comfortable with that 2-goal cushion. Next thing you know, it's a 1-goal game. That momentum's there, and it's tied before you know it. Bulldogs work in the wrong direction. Now turn it around. Ben McGonigal fouled by Honcup and a free kick coming. Wingate 2 matches remaining after today at Carson-Newman. Regular season home finale for Wingate takes place next Saturday at 2 o'clock against Emory and Henry before hitting the road on Wednesday, November 6th for a night game in Hartsville, South Carolina to take on Coker, who's looked really good this year on their men's side. Both of those matches can be watched wherever you're watching this match on Flow Sports and Flow FC. Ball slowly rolled back to the keeper. Conrad today has made 5 saves, allowing 2 goals, has faced 7 shots on target. 7 of Carson-Newman's 12 shots, including that one there. Make that now 8 of 13 have been on target for Carson-Newman. And it was Veneslon trying to get it past the keeper. About 12 minutes away from some other men's soccer action in the South Atlantic Conference kicking off. First touch for 2 different games in the conference. Kickoff at 5 between Anderson and Lincoln Memorial. Mars Hill and Catawba as well. Make that Tusculum and Coker and Limestone LR. Carson-Newman in position to be in position. A foul or a contact, I should say, inside the box. No whistle, no foul. Put ahead. Lakener to Pascal on the left wing. Back to Lakener, all the way back to Coles. Wester on the right wing. Smarek back to Lakener. 9 and change have gone here in the second half. Wingate needs 2 goals to equalize, 3 goals to end up as the winner in a really difficult situation, down a man. Well, if you're a Carson-Newman fan, unfortunate news from Emory, Virginia, as Carson-Newman football fell 17-10 to Emory and Henry, who was receiving votes in the latest coaches poll. It's the first loss of the season for Carson-Newman. Returning home for homecoming next weekend to take on Anderson at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in catching a football game at home, it's the last guaranteed opportunity to do that next Saturday. Homecoming against the Anderson Trojans for the first time in Carson-Newman football program history. Wester works it up the right wing. Sent in front and pushed away. Mention the games that are going on in the South Atlantic Conference for men's soccer today. A rare Sunday afternoon match is scheduled for tomorrow. Big whistle and a foul at the middle of the field. It was Smarik who was involved on the foul. Down and in pain for Wingate is Pablo Pozos, the sophomore forward from Madrid. Wingate is asking for a booking. They won't get it. Instead, it's just a normal foul. But tomorrow afternoon in the South Atlantic Conference, Newberry at Lenore-Rhine on Sunday. That match being played on Sunday because Emory and Henry Soccer shares its field with its football program, who of course was in action today. So that match delayed by 24 hours. Sent back to the end line. Carson-Newman will save it from being a corner kick, but a deep throw-in inside Wingate's attacking third. Played into the box. Carson-Newman's defense has been so good at just clearing those balls, getting it out of harm's way pretty quickly. Chipped into the box, another throw-in coming for Wingate. Headed away. Solid work by the Carson-Newman defense yet again. Dangerous chance in the box. Nearly there was Kimo Lemke, the graduate midfielder for Wingate, but couldn't get the header quite where he wanted it. Some fancy footwork on the other end from Vasquez. Cross to the left side. Picked up by Pozos. A shot on the right side of the net just goes a little too wide. On a shot from Panagotu, Zach Panagotu, the senior midfielder from Nicosia, Cyprus. A debate between the two sides results in a a Wingate throw. A trip advantage played. And now we'll get the whistle. Referee tracking down a Wingate Bulldog. Gives a talking to Pozos. No indication to stop the clock just yet. Smarik, it appears, is still on the pitch. Will now stop the clock as Smarik gets back to his feet. No substitutions yet through 15 minutes of play in the second half. As a reminder, a new substitution rule this year. Coaches at all levels have spent time getting used to it, but with 10 minutes to go in the second half, when the winning team substitutes, the clock stops. We're obviously still 20 minutes away from that point. Wester pokes it up the right wing. No Eagles were there to collect. Instead, it ends up on the foot of Jamie Mendez. The freshman Torrent, right foot, was looking for his third assist of the day. He still might get it. Left foot shot from Dukes, rolls wide left. Ben Dukes was looking for a brace. Torrent was looking for his third assist. Instead, it ends up wide left with a corner kick coming for Carson-Newman. Be the fourth such statistic of the day for the Eagles. And it will be Maxime Wester taking the corner kick for Carson-Newman. Make that Tim Hans. Options are there for both a long and short corner. It will be a cross into the box, but instead jumping up with the gloves is Moritz Conrad. Played it a little too close to the goal line to be an effective enough set piece. Dribbling through Pablo Pozos. Cross to the far right wing. Rolls over the touchline, throw in coming for Carson-Newman. Carson-Newman has applied a amount of pressure on Moritz Conrad here in the second half. Carson-Newman has only allowed one shot by Wingate, who is not on target here in the second half as well. As the shots stand, it's 14-7 in favor of Carson-Newman. Wingate in the attacking third, trying to find their first goal of the day. Instead, it's sent way back and forced to collect is Sverre Oland, the senior defender from Norway. Pushed back, it's Dukes on the right wing. Looking for Tim Hans on top of the SAC logo, and instead it rolls all the way back to Conrad. He plays it ahead, finding Hilpert. Wester puts it towards the end line. Cross inside the box. It's too far. Honcup plays it back to the defense. Wester will play it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Simonetti. $16 fouls combined between the two sides, exactly even, 8 apiece. Hans will dish it off to the right side. Ben Dukes is tripped up. Bulldogs were just able to get the ball off of Duke's foot. Pressure, contact, and a foul called against Carson-Newman. Eagles can't believe it, as a free kick will come for Wingate. Conrad all the way out of the box, plays it, and now will take the jog back inside the net. Hans provides pressure, it goes out of play. Disagreements on both sides will get a clock stoppage, and now Tim Hans will get a talking to from the official. No card is shown to Tim Hans despite the lecture from the official. Ready to get going again. Throw in coming for Wingate. On the right wing, Pascal chips it into the box. Left foot saved by Conrad, and it rolls off to the right side. Doesn't go out of play. The Eagles recollect. Wester on the right wing. Cross over to the left side looking for Pascal again. It's off a skull of a Bulldog. Honcup, right-footed strike is wide right. Eagles have provided a flurry of shots towards Conrad on that sequence. Conrad had to make a couple of saves as well. But all in all, Carson-Newman still left off the score sheet in the second half. The 2-0 scoreline is how it stood at the second half. Clock will stop for a substitution. Ridian Williams will check on for Honcup. Throw-in finds the foot of Hans. Off the skull of Pozos, out of play. Throw-in coming for Carson-Newman. Left wing Hans fighting for it. Can't quite get there. Halfway through our second half, offsides, the flag goes up. Wingate called on it for the third time this afternoon. Gameplay started at approximately right around noon here at McCown Field with the women's game between Carson-Newman and Wingate getting underway. And we'll play through at least around 5:25. Whistle and a foul called against Wingate. Free kick coming for Carson-Newman. Dukes was looking for a touch. He didn't get there. Instead, it will be Ridian Williams. The Englishman plays it back for his fellow countryman, Dan Coles. Whistle and a foul. Referee pointing to the exact spot where the free kick should be taken by Wingate. Apologies on that. Ridian Williams, while hailing from the United Kingdom, does not come from England, instead of Welsh descent. diverse mix of nationalities on this Carson-Newman roster. A long free kick into the box. It's a loose ball. Simonetti finally collects. An excellent free kick from Josh Gallagher, freshman midfielder from Northern Ireland. Well, of this Eagles roster, 7 from the United States, 4 from England. Mentioned Riddy and Williams from Wales make up the 5 from the United Kingdom. 5 Austrians on the roster, the most of any country, tied with the United Kingdom outside of the United States. Goes back to Simonetti, who will dish it off towards the left wing for Carson-Newman. Under 20 minutes to play here from McCown Field. And barring a big shakeup in the South Atlantic Conference standings for the final couple weeks of the season, what will be Carson-Newman's final home game. Flag goes up, offsides again for Wingate. But unless things really shake up in the conference standings that somehow allow Carson-Newman to get into the top 4 of the table, this will be the final match on the pitch here at McCown Field and Harvey Stadium. Chipped ahead. Ben Dukes is the lone Eagle there, but it's Conrad who came out of the box to play the ball. Wingate now jockeying for possession. A reminder, Wingate playing with 10 men through the remainder of the second half after a 30th minute red card that was shown to Dennis Hamzik. Antoine Torrent. Solid legal tackle by the Wingate Bulldogs. Counter-attacking opportunity. Ball on the foot of Severe Oland. Ball is played ahead where it's an easy collect for Federico Simonetti, who's holding on to a clean sheet. If the result holds, it would be the first win for Carson-Newman over Wingate since 2021, having lost the previous 2 editions. Clock will stop. Both teams are visibly upset, and a yellow card will be shown to Dan Coles of Carson-Newman, the first booking today against the Eagles. Wingate has won the previous 2 meetings in this series. 2022 saw a tie here in Jefferson City. That was a scoreless tie. The last time Carson-Newman won in this series was in 2021, a 3-1 win on the road at Wingate, and still shaken up and down on the field is Pozos, Pablo Pozos, the sophomore forward out of Madrid. He was fouled by Coles that induced the yellow, and now the athletic trainers will check on Pozos. Both trainers from Wingate and Carson-Newman are involved. It seems like some of the attention is on that right ankle. The booking against Dan Coles will officially come at the 74th minute of play. And again, it's the Carson-Newman athletic trainer who is focusing on that lower right leg. The Wingate trainer walking Pozos through it. And Pozos will limp off the field. Wingate looking to make a flurry of substitutions. Number 10, 15, and 25 waiting in the wings for Wingate, as Mitch Honcup is also ready to check in for Carson-Newman. Pozos is making the slow walk in. It's Yannick Hilpert who will come in for Pozos. The two other subs will have to wait. Header high into the sky. On the free kick following the yellow card, it rolls out of play over the touchline, and now we'll get the substitutions. Honcup checking in. For Wingate, it's Philippe and Person. Number 18, Gunner, checks out, as well as number 7, Ben McGonigal. It was McGonigal and Gunner who checked out of the game for Wingate, so they're allowed to check back in one more time each. And if they check out again, that's it for the day. Was mentioning the series history. The last time Carson-Newman defeated Wingate was on the road in September of 2021. A 3-1 win for the Eagles at the home of the Bulldogs. Carson-Newman has not outright defeated Wingate here in Jefferson City since 2015, a 4-1 victory for Carson-Newman. So it's been 9 years since Carson-Newman found victory here at McCown Field against the Bulldogs of Wingate. Under 15 minutes to play of our 90-minute contest that has been stretched to feel a lot longer due to the extended halftime and lightning delay. Wingate playing with 10 men. Carson-Newman called for a foul. Paul Smarek is responsible for the infraction. It would be a big win for Carson-Newman, as a victory today would leapfrog Wingate in the standings. Carson-Newman would go from 7 points to 10, which would pass Wingate's 9. Offsides called against Carson-Newman. First time that the flag has gone up against the Eagles today. Moritz Conrad well out of position. The goalkeeper playing about halfway up. Another foul called against Carson-Newman. Free kick coming. Kick taker is Josh Gallagher, the freshman midfielder from Northern Ireland. Gallagher's right-footed strike. Header. Simonetti is there to punch it high. Federico Simonetti makes the save. And for Simonetti, it will be his 4th save of the day, still protecting a clean sheet. Right-footed strike, but that one will find the back of the net. A big right-footed kick from Josh Gallagher gets past Federico Simonetti for the first time today. Wingate has cut the deficit in half within 1. So 12 minutes and change for Wingate now to find an equalizer and take the wind right out of Carson-Newman's sails. Ben Dukes fighting for possession. Wingate has scored with 10 men on the pitch. Contact from both sides. The referee decides it was mutual contact and no whistle. Advantage played. A Bulldog on the turf rolling in agony as Carson-Newman works it back to Simonetti. And now the clock will be stopped for a Wingate injury. And the second the clock is stopped, he pops right back up. Raul Philippe took the dive. There was a drop ball that Simonetti had to collect. Smarek works it back. A lot of pressure from Wingate. Now played ahead. Eagles would certainly like a now insurance goal. Left foot straight into the hands of Conrad. The Josh Gallagher goal comes at the 78th minute of play. It's the first goal in over 45 minutes of free play. Ball lands on the foot with an excellent touch. Now into the box. Almost a right foot strike by Corpus, but Simonetti was there. Wingate was looking for a foul call. And now a tackle. I believe that was Isaac Pascal. Clock will stop. And we'll see if there is a booking against Pascal. And a yellow card will be shown. Second yellow assessed to Carson-Newman today. Potential frustration after Wingate found a goal to get back within 1. The Bulldogs have just under 11 minutes to find an equalizer. Clean sheet is gone for Simonetti. And now both games of this afternoon, both teams have scored. Important free kick. Referee will call for a second try. The Pascal yellow comes at the 80th minute. Right foot strike into the box. It's cleared away by Carson-Newman's defense. On the left side, over the touchline, out of play, throw in Carson-Newman. Substitution for Carson-Newman, Rydian Williams checking back into the match. Pablo Pozos, who went down with that apparent right ankle injury, will sub on. Ben Dukes checks out of the match for Carson-Newman as well. Has a share of being the leading goal scorer for Carson-Newman this season. It's Dukes and Honcup who both have 5. Clock stoppage and a yellow card is taken out. It will be handed. The referee is not officially awarded that yellow yet. Still no official yellow, but has the card out, and there it is. Awarded to Josh Gallagher, the goal scorer. It is the 4th booking combined between the two sides. We've seen 3 yellows and a red. Physical soccer being played in the final 15. Wingate, a chance. Excellent slide tackle. A cross goes a little too far to the left side, still remains in play. Over the touchline, Carson-Newman still having to defend off a Wingate throw. On the foot of Jamie Mendez. Sends it into the box. It's a battle for possession. Foul called against Wingate. Free kick coming for Carson-Newman. Now under 10 minutes to play, getting closer to being under 9 minutes to play. So Wingate called on the foul, will get a stoppage to, as a Wingate player is tying Federico Simonetti's shoe. How about that? Not often do you see an opposing teammate offer to tie the goalkeeper's shoe. And initially I saw a Bulldog down doing the shoe tying and immediately assumed that it was his own keeper and then realized, hold on, that's Federico Simonetti, the keeper for Carson-Newman. Free kick for Wingate. Chipped into the box. Simonetti goes up, was so close actually to carrying that ball into the net. And now a Bulldog will take a tumble, and Federico Simonetti knows immediately to call over the athletic trainers. It's Pedro Santos, the graduate midfielder from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He was involved with the exchange right at the net with Federico Simonetti. So Simonetti knows that it was an actual concern based off the way that he came down alongside Santos. Played back to Simonetti, who's playing keep away with the Bulldogs. Instead, it's intercepted. Golden opportunity on the left side. It's off the post. Second chance. On an excellent shot from Pablo Pozos, it just hit the post, and Wingate was literal inches away from equalizing this game. On the left foot, had Simonetti beat, just hit the post. Get a whistle and a clock stoppage yet again. The yellow card will make its reintroduction. And this time it's against Paul Smarek. So Smarek shown the yellow at the 83rd minute. Time is running out for Wingate. Did find the goal to make it from 2-0 to 2-1. So close to climbing that mountain all the way back. The goal came from Josh Gallagher unassisted at the 78th minute. Free kick, foul called against Wingate, free kick coming. Foul calls have been 16 to 13. Carson-Newman has been called on more fouls than Wingate to this point. Wingate desperate to at least get a draw to keep Carson-Newman at bay in the table. Carson-Newman on the other side, desperate for the win to leapfrog Wingate. Both teams know the implications of this game and of this current result. It's Wester on the right wing. Tries to play it ahead. Instead, it's an intercept. Josh Gallagher had worked it upfield. Now under 7 to go, Simonetti clears. Wingate with 10 men has done an excellent job applying the pressure on Simonetti. Played ahead looking for Torrent. Gets a shove in the back but controls. It rolls close to the flag and it will be a throw-in. Down Bulldog is Sverre Oland, senior defender from Drammen in Norway. Oland is still down. Went down and held that right calf. It looks like it's a cramp of some sort. And look at that, the sportsmanship continues. Carson-Newman benefited from a Bulldog tying Federico Simonetti's shoe, and now Oland is getting his cramp stretched out by a Carson-Newman Eagle. It was Thomas Vennesland who was there. Well, the Norwegian is helping out his fellow countrymen from Tananger to Drammen. Honcup goes to the left side, works it back. Wingate playing aggressive, doing sprints all over the field. Carson-Newman barely has a second to breathe before the Bulldogs are there. And now it's Vennesland up the right wing. Cross into the box. Wingate, an excellent header to clear. Now it's on the foot of Pascal. Honcup on the left side. Dished off. Wingate desperate for a counterattack opportunity. That clock is not in the Bulldogs' favor. It's a battle at the flag that stays in. And now it is misplayed by Corpus, and a corner kick is coming for Carson-Newman. The fifth corner kick of the day goes behind the bushes next to the scoreboard before emerging. It's Honcup taking the corner kick. Clock is rolling with 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go, counting down. Honcup with the ball on his foot. Looks for Wester. Centered pass. It's a shot too far wide right. Substitutions. Number 6, Panagotu and Kobe Vasquez come off. Coming off is number 26, Josh Gallagher. So the goal scorer for Wingate has come off. Under 4 to play. Tensions are high in a match that means so much for one of the final spots in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament. Still 2 matches to play for both sides. For Carson-Newman, it's 2 road contests at Anderson and Tusculum. For Wingate, it's a home contest against Emory and Henry before hitting the road to take on Coker. Clock will stop. The referee will come over to Carson-Newman's bench to talk to Stephen Lyons. Believe it was just a bench warning. The bench was getting a little too far ahead, getting close to that touch line. Throw-in comes for the Bulldogs. 3 minutes to play, 180 seconds for Wingate. Some fancy footwork for Carson-Newman on a counterattack. Wingate knows they need to intercept and go fast. Played all the way back to Simonetti. Expect him to boot it ahead, and there it is. Goes all the way back where Conrad will collect. Again, both teams understand the implications. Carson-Newman desperately needs a win. Wingate, to keep Carson-Newman at bay, needs a win or a draw. 2 minutes. Chipped ahead. Pascal in midair will boot it away. Wingate counters. Pascal hits the turf. A long shot goes over the net. Wingate was asking for some patience. They didn't get it, as that was Corpus who put it over top of the net. 90 seconds to go. Time is running out for Wingate. Simonetti will take his time. About to hear the 1 minute read. Clock is showing decimal points. Wingate needs to act quickly. Honcup works through a couple of defenders. The best defense is offense. .30 seconds to go. Carson-Newman playing keep away. Rolls over the end line. Or Carson-Newman fouled right at the end line. Clock is still rolling at 15. Carson-Newman taking its time. Stuck in the corner. Wingate will not have the time as quick as they are working, and Carson-Newman will escape with a 2-1 decision against Wingate. The Carson-Newman bench will escape onto the field in celebration. They have jumped Wingate in the table and have put together a 2-game winning streak. 8-0 against Newberry, 2-1 here tonight against Wingate. They now hold 10 points in the conference standings and in one move have jumped both Wingate and Anderson pending the result of the Anderson game against Lincoln Memorial. Before we leave you, we'll give an update on how that game is going in Harrogate between Anderson and Lincoln Memorial. The goal scorers, Ben Dukes and Mitch Honcup. By the way, that game in the 20th minute, Anderson and LMU scoreless with only one shot combined. Ben Dukes, a 16th minute goal, Honcup a 30th minute. Josh Gallagher made things interesting with a 78th minute strike of his own. 4 yellows and an early red provided the key to victory for Carson-Newman. Well, that'll do it for our coverage today. For my entire production crew, for our cameraman, replay director, I'm Tyler Katz saying so long from McCown Field, where the final score is Carson-Newman 2, Wingate 1. We thank you so much for making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. Well, go enjoy the rest of it. This has been a presentation of the Eagle Sports Network. So long from Mossy Creek.